So today's project, I've got 4 tenants that are sharing one mailbox that doesn't even lock. So each tenant has to go through all of the mail, pick out their pieces of mail, and put everything else back. So there's very little privacy, and the mailbox itself is leaning quite heavily and probably going to fall over. So I decided to replace it with 4 individual locking mailboxes. Alright, so here's the new mailbox. She's pretty hefty. I have to get 4 of them across, so I'm trying to get the dimensions of how big the stick across is gonna go. And then also leave room for the outgoing mail flag, so you can reach in there and grab it, which I think is fine. You know, maybe just leave 2 inches, I think would be all right. So it'd be whatever this is, plus about 13 inches. 13 inches for each one, and then multiply that by 4. It's 52 inches across. It's pretty big. Alright, so here it is laid out at 52 inches, which is right here. I think that's fine. I think we'll add some cross braces there, and I don't think it'll look too disproportionate. Leave us plenty of room for the flags. And I don't think I'm accounting for, because at the end here, you're not going to need room. This can go flush to the outside, so I might even shave off a few inches here. You need one only for 3, and the last one can be tight. So there are the proportions of it, centered to this top one, like that. Have one here, have one there. I think that looks pretty good. I'm gonna add some character. I'm gonna cut off some of these ears here. Perfect. Gives it a little more character, I think. Right, let's make one more real quick. One's a little twisted. Alright, let's just dog ear these ends here. Continue our a little bit of character we're trying to add. And then I think we should be good to start assembling. All right, the plan is, this is my favorite PL8X on the bottom there. We'll toe screw it, maybe one from the top. Put some clamps on either end there to keep it from wandering off from the center line. Next, some 3.5-inch GRKs. I have a 5-inch timber lock laying around, so why not stick that through the top? One thing I didn't account for when I was measuring this post is the floor of the mailbox needs to be at 45 inches, but I'm adding this 4x4 post at the top. So I need to take, whatever that is, 3.5 inches and cut it off the bottom, which kind of sucks because I was counting on this factory stained bottom, but I can add some stain to it after the fact. But just something to keep in mind when you're doing this and measuring everything. Here I'm adding some rubber Flex Seal spray to the bottom of these bases. These are going to be in contact with that ledge, and I just don't want moisture getting stuck there and rotting these out over time. While I was at it, I decided to add the same spray to the ledge itself, and it just helps waterproof everything a little bit more. I think the most vital part to get would be the bottom of the main post. This will be the closest to the ground, probably have the most exposure to moisture. All right, so here's where we're at. have the center of every mailbox marked on here. So this is where the center of the mailbox itself will be on the ledge, all the way down. Then I have these boards, these mounting boards. I've got the center of the board marked, and then the edge where to line this up on the edge of this ledge as well. So now I can line this mark, the center of the board, up with this line, and then this edge mark with the edge of the ledge here. And then this is a little oversized, or undersized actually. I'll have some adjustability once the mailbox is mounted. So the plan is mount this here like that, line it all up from underneath, screw it down, and then set the mailbox on top. And I'll use my right angle bit, this thing, and I'll be able to drive some screws from inside the mailbox through these holes and into these boards. So let's get all 4 of these mounted, and then we'll go from there. All right, so I've got them all dry fitted here, and they look all pretty symmetrical, but you can tell some of them just need micro adjustments. And so having that mounting plate a little undersized gives me just the right amount of adjustability. And then we ended up here exactly how I wanted to, just right on the edge here. And then here, right on, flush the edge here as well. So I'm gonna open up all these backs, get my, I have some 3/4 inch screws and some big washers, and get 4 screws in each one. I don't know how they ever expected anybody to ever get those screws in the back there without a contraption like this. Plus I've got like a 1-foot extension on this. There must be some sort of wizardry or black magic that used to exist, but I don't know what it is. So this is what I've came up with to get back there and get those screws in there. The plan was to use a Simpson EZ Spike to move the entire mailbox post closer to the road, since the new one won't have this overhang that the old one has. So I'm using a crowbar to check for any rocks that might be getting in the way, and I actually had to move it a few times until I was able to drive it pretty far into the ground. Everything was going pretty smooth up until like the last 3 inches.
It's crooked as a motherfucker.
So I thought I could maybe back out the spike and drive it in a new location, but I absolutely destroyed the thing trying to get it out. So plan B is just to use the existing post. It seems like it's in great shape. It wasn't wobbling too much. There was no dry rot on it at all.
Grab what up?
To attach the new post to the existing post, I decided to use these 9-inch through bolt replacement screws, and they're used to put decks together, so I thought it would be more than enough to hold a mailbox up.
It hit a rock, and that's why it went crooked at the very bottom. Look at that, it's destroyed.
What do you guys say about it?
Crooked.
Why?
It hit a rock. I don't feel any rock down there. Or there's a big rock right here. Right here.
Well, here are the mailboxes a few months after I installed it. Holding up pretty good. Not much wobble to it. I also added a bead of caulking here in these seams here just to further waterproof it, make it last a little bit longer. But looks good though.